So, Michaela,
Mm-hmm.
big question for you. Have you ever been into a pawn shop?
Porn as in sell stuff for money or
Yeah.
porn?
What did you think I was talking about?
I wasn't really sure. Well, I've been to cash converters.
Oh, there you go. What were you selling? Or were you buying something?
Oh, I'm married to someone that's the biggest hoarder there is and goes into bloody expensive pawn shops all the time.
What sort of stuff does he buy?
Well, luckily he doesn't buy anything because it's always too expensive, but he loves to look.
Just likes to see what other people have hocked off.
I think he likes seeing if he's got any of the same shit around his house and how much it's worth.
Welcome to the Tradies Business Show, helping you get off the tools and into true business ownership so you can spend more time doing the things that matter most. Now, here are your hosts, Warwick Bidwell and Michaela Clark.
Welcome to the Tradies Business Show.
Have you ever pawned something?
No, I don't think I have. I don't even think I've bought anything from a pawn shop.
No, I don't think I have either.
I looked at a surfboard once, but I reckon they charge too much, those buggers.
Yeah, they do.
They give you nothing for them, and then they try and sell them for 10 times what they bought them off the poor bugger surfy.
Dearer than
sold
new
them for.
sometimes.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway,
So,
well,
interesting business model.
now you've had a cultural experience today.
Oh, look, I've had an education here at your recording studio.
So Warwick comes to my house now and records our episodes. And not only am I wearing slippers today, my Croc slippers, which I think are the best thing ever invented, but the hubby's home today.
Yeah.
Day off work.
And we emerged from your little studio here, your office, to see some crap on television, because I don't watch TV. But what's it called? Porn Stars.
Yeah, on the A&E channel.
What's that?
Most Australian men will know about it. It's like a reality TV channel for men. Reality
as in unreality.
Yeah, so there's heaps of porn ones.
Because nothing on those shows actually happens.
No, of course not. Or, they open up a shed that's been abandoned and there's like thousands of dollars of goodies in there that just happen to be left there. Or there's the duck people that made the duck things and they wear camo. What are they called? The duck
hunters.
Duck Dynasty or something. They're multi-millionaires now and they make duck whistles. There's a whole show about the family making duck whistles.
Oh, what?
And there's swamp porn.
No wonder there are so many issues in society in the US of A.
And there's a show. Well, what about my husband who watches it?
I know, but
we actually pay money. Can you believe it?
And G'day
Seven
to...
Mate is a similar channel for those that don't have pay TV. A lot of A&E shows are on Seven Mate. But there's even one about like swamp people, I think it's called, and they go around getting alligators and.
Anyway, so there's a whole bunch of crap on television. I think we've established that.
Yes.
Which
So
is a good reason
Duncan was watching
not
it.
to waste time watching it.
On his lunch break. We've walked out.
And there's these well, they apparently own and run a pawn shop, like anyway.
So there's
here in Oz, they're called cash converters or whatever is probably the main one, but there's a whole bunch of independents. So
there's the brother and sister and the overly tanned father that runs
something going on with his tan, hey?
Yeah, that runs the shop.
And the long hair tied back in a ponytail.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And something came up in the shop. I thought, oh, that's it. That's a good episode to talk into.
So basically, one of the young guys at the front counter, customer service counter, was running a little side cashy business of taking tips from people so that they would get to the front of the queue. I don't know why I didn't think a pawn shop would have a queue that takes that long.
I think they're quite long over there.
But people trying to hock stuff to get money for rent or whatever, who knows. So he was collecting cash from customers so that he would give them priority service, and the business owners found out about it, the brother, the sister, and the old man with the tan, and had a big argument about it. The brother said he should be fired. The old man said no way. The sister said something else because I got bored after that. But basically, it did raise sort of interesting questions around employees and how you deal with undesirable behaviour in your business with your employees? Do you have a trigger finger? Are you sort of firing people willy-nilly because they stole some biscuits from the biscuit tin, or didn't put their dollar in the jar for the coffee, or knocked off some grease to take home and do a job on their own car? Or are you the other way, where you put up with all sorts of stuff and just allow it because you're afraid that you won't find someone better, or you don't know how to deal with it, or you're afraid of being taken to Fair Work? It raises some interesting questions about that. And then I suppose what's more important, Michaela, is how do we answer those?
Well, that's it. I mean, some could view this guy as having an entrepreneurial spirit and could have, looked at an alternative value add service. I don't know, where you jump to the top of the line, you get an extra 5% on your hot goods. I don't know. But
it's not like he was stealing from the business.
No, but it's awful. It is. He should have gone. I think he should have gone.
So you're a trigger finger.
No, he's taken money out of customers.
But they were paying for a service. They were willing to pay extra to get to the front of the queue. I'd do it. If I could slip you $5 and get to the front of the queue at Department of Transport when I have to renew my license, it'd save me about 2 hours.
So you wouldn't have sacked him?
If it was his first offence and he was a good kid and he
apparently he's a good employee.
Yeah,
they were saying.
So they would have fired a good, productive employee who had good relationships with customers potentially. He
was ripping them off.
Had been loyal up till then. He wasn't. It's not like he was charging them extra unknowingly for stuff and stealing from them. They were knowingly paying to get to the front of the queue. The same way you knowingly pay for your Croc slippers. I don't know why anybody would buy those things, but you knowingly paid for those.
Yes, but that's highlighting a bad... Look, it's not a thing on the customers, it's the employee. It's a trust issue.
Well, I don't know. See, I can be quite forgiving, but I do know that with my wingman clients in particular, I'm the guy with the pen that's made out of a bullet. Don't ask. But there's a bit of a joke with some of my clients that, I just want to use my pen to shoot people and fire them. For me, I see business owners dragging it out too much. They would keep a guy like that time after time. They'd find out more things and keep him and keep justifying it, either through that whole fear of wouldn't find anybody better.
Wouldn't you always have a trust issue with that employee, though? But
he's not stealing from the business. He's offering customers an additional service.
He's stealing their goodwill.
No, he's
their
not.
Reputation. They are.
How?
Oh, mate, slide me something and who knows what else he could be having on the side business.
Well, but that's the thing. So, first time somebody screws up, you sack them. Is that what you do? You'd have on the surface, a perfectly good employee.
But he's not a perfectly good employee. He's being dodgy and doing things underhanded.
One thing that you know about. So you'd go, that's it. First offence, you're gone.
Yep. For that.
And then you replace him.
And this is why I don't have staff. I don't like staff.
But this highlights how hard it is to make these decisions, Michaela. See
what you can learn from reality TV in the middle of the day?
Well, it's got us into an argument on the show, so I'd like to think it's probably not a great thing. But
so you would counsel him and try and...
I would give him a warning and say it's unacceptable. But I like his ingenuity, and what would have been a better thing is to come to me as a business owner and say, hey, I reckon we could offer people a premium service here, charge them a bit extra, and because it's my idea, I want to split it with you 50-50.
Yes. Well, I would have said, good entrepreneurial spirit, but you're gone. Go do entrepreneurial stuff elsewhere. Not on my time or my turf.
Or as an employer, you could say, mate, I love the idea. It sucks that you're pocketing that and you didn't ask me about it because it's my business and they're my customers. But I tell you what, because I love the idea so much, you keep 25% of it in future and I'll keep 75% and we'll keep offering it as a premium service.
Are you crazy?
No. See, the thing is, good employees, as everybody listening to this show, good employees are hard to come by, right? I guarantee every person listening to this show that has staff or employees has had issues finding good ones. finding ones that think for themselves, that are innovative, that are good with customers, that have attention to detail and common sense.
My issue is his moral compass is screwed.
I don't think so.
You don't think his moral compass was screwed?
No. We're talking a US show, right? These people live off tips. Like, minimum wage over there is like $6-7 an hour.
He was still undermining the shop owners.
Absolutely, and he needs a warning over it. And he needs to be counselled about it, and he needs to understand the gravity of what he's been doing. But I still would be looking for an opportunity to turn that into a positive.
I get that, but I wouldn't be rewarding him for bad behaviour by giving him a cut of the premium service.
No.
I'd say that's a great idea. Look, we'll implement it this way. Thanks for that feedback if I did decide to keep him, which I wouldn't. But I wouldn't reward him for it. Bad, misleading behaviour.
Interesting. See, I see staff as people you want to partner with. And
of course, but that he doesn't have the same respect for you.
No, I don't see him as disrespecting me just because he's come up with a way to make some extra cash. Because those people wouldn't get tips like, someone working in a restaurant, because they're not really in a full service position.
No, but it's still not right.
And this is the thing, see?
So I guess our listeners are wondering what actually happened.
Okay, so the son wanted to sack him. The sister, I can't remember what her position was, but the old man was probably wise like me, and so what he did was he sent the guy home a few days without pay. Go away and think about it. He basically criticised him and warned him in front of the other staff, and sent him away for a few days and said, come back on Monday. And the young guy, you could just see he was like, thank goodness I didn't lose my job over that. You could see how grateful he was just in his face. Now, if he did it again, that'd be it. See you later. I gave you a chance. And like the dad said, we all deserve a second chance. It was the first time he'd done anything wrong. If we all got booted the first time we did something wrong or made an error of judgment like that, and he was a young guy. It's not like he was a 40-year-old bloke who should have known better. He looked like he was about 17 or 18. It's
a calculated deception.
No. This is why you have no staff. But you have to, and this is the thing as an employer.
So if someone took something out of the till...
That's different. That's stealing.
Right, because they're stealing. I couldn't trust him. I could not trust someone...
Do you have trust issues, Michaela? Because I took some food out of your fridge before when I had my lunch.
Is that where that went? But anyway, he stayed on Monday and then would come back and, would have done something else wrong in his moral compass on
wow.
Tuesday.
So your thing with people is if they do one thing wrong, that's it, they're bad. So hang on. I've got an interesting thing here. Your dog, the podcast dog Ella, how many couches has she chewed?
That's different.
Oh, right.
No, it's completely different.
Is it?
Yes.
How come?
We're talking about life and death here. My husband wanted to shoot it.
I don't blame him.
Animals are different. That's completely different. If an employee chewed my lounge, yes, they'd be gone.
Yeah. If an employee peed on your rug, you'd be like, that's it.
7 lounges, which the dog has done.
Exactly. So you give the dog about 37 chances, but you give a person one chance.
No, I don't always give them one chance.
Okay, so when would you give someone a second chance?
Well, it depends on the circumstance.
Well, come on, give me an example.
Well, I haven't hired that many staff because I don't have the patience for it.
Clearly.
There's been issues where, I should tell that story one day, but I won't on this episode. But, where some staff have made some pretty ordinary errors that have happened multiple times.
So repeat offenders.
Yeah.
But see, we're talking about first offence, right?
But actually, a funny thing is I didn't sack them. I was just thinking back. Because I just couldn't have been bothered.
You just wanted to disagree with me, didn't you?
No, but I just think in that situation that I just think it's dodgy. It's wrong.
And I don't disagree with you, but what I'm saying is you're running a business and you've had that employee that up to this point you thought was a good employee, productive, good with customers, good at their job, you find out that they've made a mistake or they've had an error of judgment or they've done something stupid.
Yeah, but the mistake's different to a...
They've done something stupid. It's a mistake in judgment, right? They've come up with a way to make some extra cash. They probably busted ass broke anyway. Minimum wage. You think about an apprentice, right?
Yeah, that's fine, but that then means that you're always going to be looking over their shoulder and what are they up to, and then that's not...
See, I guess maybe I'm more of a believer of finding the good in people and giving people opportunities to actually be better in themselves. I would definitely warn someone like that. I'd warn an apprentice and put them on notice and say, you know, that was a big mistake, doing cashies on the weekend with my tools. If you wanted to make more money, come and talk to me, and I'll come up with some ways for you to do extra work for us out of hours.
So
if
what?
I catch you doing it again, you're gone.
What if, right? Apprentice, bloke comes in the car, needs something else done. Goes, oh mate, I'll do it for cashier on the weekend for you.
Happens all the time.
Well, do you think that's acceptable?
No, but if he's an apprentice, chances are he's probably 19, 20, still learning, got no money. Doesn't have the judgment or the wisdom that we do because, you know, you're old now that you're 40.
Oh, I know. And I'm very wise because I'm building a business with no staff.
And I think if it's done well, people really appreciate and respect a leader who isn't just axing people because they made a mistake once. I
think there's a difference between a mistake is different to calculated...
Yeah, it's borderline. And
yeah.
I've had clients with exactly that scenario. But, you know, I had a client who had an older tradesperson who was doing just that. He was doing cashies on weekends instead of putting it through the business. And we sacked the guy.
Yeah. Well, he's stealing from the business.
Yeah, because he's been
deceptive.
around... The guy's in his late 40s and he's run his own business. So I think there's a level of expectation around what that person would know is acceptable behaviour versus a 19-year-old apprentice who might know, but it depends on his parenting.
They should know that.
Yeah, should. But, you know, I think there's a different level of expectation around that person. And if he's a great apprentice and he's working hard and he's doing well and he's got a good attitude and the customers love him, he just needs some mentoring and a bit of guidance and leadership. And that guy could turn into your most loyal, most productive employee. It doesn't mean that you put up with crap from him over and over and over again. And that's what I actually see employers doing, is just accepting crappy performance and attitude from people for way too long. So I find most people aren't like you, Mikhail. They don't just go around axing people after their first offence.
Yeah. Well,
they tend to give
in theory,
too many
I would.
chances.
Yeah, in theory, I say that. Whether I'd actually do it because I couldn't be bothered finding someone new.
Yeah, but it's uncomfortable, you know, to give someone their marching orders. Most people hate that stuff, and so I think it's just about finding the right balance for your own values and what you know, as an employer, what you think is acceptable behaviour. I mean, how would you like to be treated? As an employer, did you ever make any mistakes? You know, did you have a barking podcast dog in the background?
I think there's difference. Well, actually, that's another podcast, but we all make mistakes. It's not about mistakes. It's.
But an error of judgment is still a mistake, in my mind, anyway. That's my personal opinion. I mean,
I think there's an error in judgment when, you know, they could go either way and they decided to go another way because they thought of a reason. But calculatingly doing what they were doing was wrong. Anyway, so we don't know whether they survived, like after Monday, whether they survived or not. We'll have to, I don't know.
I don't care to find out because I won't be watching it again.
Can I tell you a funny story, though?
Oh, I think you should.
This is a great story. And if anybody can beat this as one of the worst things an employee could do for a client, it's actually used. This is actually now used in some training as an example of what not to do.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So many years ago, I had a virtual assistance business, which wasn't in the tradie space. It was for lawyers, and I had a staff member that worked directly with this lawyer.
Your first and last. Did you sack him?
Well, let's just hear the story and see what you would do.
Okay.
So unbeknownst to me, and this was I take full responsibility for this because I hired quickly. There's a lot of lessons to be learned here. And I didn't do a thorough background check, let's say, i.e. Google someone. And it turned out this contractor, or this employee, owned an adult shop.
Nice.
Right? And had made the local news because it was in a regional town and, it was a bit of a controversy, this adult shop coming in. Issue wasn't about the adult shop at all. And I still would have hired her if I'd known about it because I think there's good money to be made in those. But anyway, what happened though was that somehow, I don't know how to this day it happened, but a calendar invite from this girl's adult shop account or business sent a calendar invite to this client's clients.
Whoa. Nice. From a law firm.
Yeah. So these clients, of my clients, is getting calendar invites from an adult shop.
Did anybody respond? With an acceptance? That'd be a classic, wouldn't it?
Oh.
So did you sack her?
I said to the client, I will let her go. And the client said, no, don't worry about it. Keep her on.
Oh, they liked the invite. They probably got the best response rate they've ever had to an event invitation.
So that made me put because it was all virtual, whole heap of procedures and checklists in with virus and background checks and whatever. But I gave the client, said, oh, look, I'll let her go.
So what happened after that? She turned out to be a good employee?
Nah, she was gone a month later.
She was rubbish.
Yep.
Oh, dear.
But it just, anyway, funny story. It's a pretty interesting time that was.
Mm.
And another lesson here was I didn't have the appropriate level of insurance for the business.
I think people
to cover that.
Yeah, blame their employees a lot and really need to have a look in the mirror with their own leadership as employers.
I completely take full responsibility for that.
For allowing things to happen. But
so don't get me hiring or firing your staff is the message there because you might get some surprises in your inbox.
And the adage is hire slow, fire fast. So It actually supports a little bit of what you say with getting rid of people quickly, but you really do need to put the effort in up front when you hire people is not just knee-jerk grabbing people, putting them in because you need somebody urgently. You're better off taking the time to find someone with a better attitude and that's going to fit the team better.
Doesn't own an adult shop.
Yeah, doesn't pocket money for letting people go to the front of the queue. And probably don't get Michaela and me to sort out your disputes because we'll just argue about it for half an hour.
That's it. Now, if you've got any specific team problems, we can help.
How can we do
want
that?
our help. So part of our toolkit is a weekly live Q&A that, I'll say Warwick and I do, but 95% of it's Warwick.
Fairly loose description of both of us.
You know what? I don't think people want my hire and firing advice anyway. So
I don't think they want to see my head on the video either, but they keep looking at it.
So every Wednesday, people can ask questions and Warwick will answer, or myself. So if you're having a particular issue with your employee, become a Toolkit member. It's cheaper than a recruitment consultant's fee, and we'll be able to help you. Or any other problems you have in your business.
So go check out tradiesbusinessshow.com/toolkit and you can get all the details there. If you've got staff issues or anything, we'd love to hear about some of your stories. How do you deal with it? How do you deal with someone who...
What's the worst thing your employee's done?
And what was your response to it? So thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to Michaela and I butt heads a little bit. We haven't done that for a while.
No, it's not often.
So what are we doing? We're just agreeing to disagree on that.
Yeah, you know, I'm actually thinking I want to write to the show and see how long he lasts, just to prove a point.
Oh, he won't last. He'll turn out to be crap.
Yeah.
But everyone deserves a second chance. Even me.
Yes, well, I've given you, we're up to 151 episodes now, so I've given you 150 extra chances.
You are very tolerant.
I know.
All right, well, we'll talk to you next episode.
Maybe.
Hooroo.
You've been listening to the Tradies Business Show with Warwick Bidwell and Michaela Clark. Want to get off the tools and into true business ownership? Find out how at tradiesbusinessshow.com.